Boom. Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Wednesday. It's 11 Eastern. This is not a green screen. It's 42 West 18th Street, Adorama. And this is Call for the Creators, episode 49. Like, what happened? Where did this go? And I pulled in Oveck today. We're going to go over the Oveck himself in a second. But before we do that, you know what's going on. We are going to say hello to, boom, Seagate. Thanks for sponsoring this one. You know Seagate, hard drives. They've been an industry standard for a very long time. There's even other hard drives that use Seagate guts on the inside to make sure that they're solid as a rock. Plenty of you probably even use Seagate yourselves. Check out the link down below for all the stuff from Seagate, from the SSDs, mechanicals, and everything in between. They've been around forever, and we're probably going to go see them at NAB, so stay tuned on the Adorama Cinema channel for coverage from NAB, because I'm going back to Vegas for you guys, okay? But also I want to say thanks to Gotham Roasters. Cheers, kid. Cheers. For hooking us up with coffee. They're over on 19th Street. What'd you get?
Flat white.
So classy. So classy. To me, I told him, I think to me that's like a winter drink. I don't know. But if you are coming to Adorama for a class, go up to 19th Street, go to Gotham Roasters, get yourself hooked up, come hang out, tell them Adorama sent you. But man, you and your classiness. I mean, you can tell by that hat, right?
Yeah. I don't know about that.
So Oveck, who is Oveck? Well, I think that's a question that whenever I bring your name up, people go, Oveck. It's like a word. It's a verb. It's not. It's like a noun. We don't know. But Oveck, I've known him for quite a while. You've been in we've known each other through an educational standpoint. Exactly. Always giving back. You're always doing photo walks. You're always giving insight. You give very deep insight. I always, not, this isn't a bashing, but it's like less of a technical, more of a let's really talk about what we're doing kind of a thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to show some of your work while we get going here, but I think portrait, I've always seen you as like a portrait photographer, but you're getting more conceptual as you go along, I feel. I mean, clearly, like these aren't like straight up like point and shoot kind of portraits. Environments are important to you.
Yeah.
Traveling, the documentary part of it is important to you.
Absolutely.
So what is the overall vibe when you're approaching taking portraits as a photographer?
Well, I think it depends on it varies. I mean, it depends on who I'm working with, like or the brand I'm working with, and the model. Like it depends on a lot of different things. My approach is usually I like to get to know people before I photograph them.
Nice.
I like to have a conversation. Trying to get in there and see, get a feel for the whole person.
Yeah, because I always tell people portraits are to portray the person, and I think people get caught up in like the light that they're using. I'm like, no.
Well, yeah, I mean the light
is like, everything.
The light is everything.
Yeah,
I mean that's what photography is, like painting with light.
But it's another aspect of the portrait, and every light can create a different perception, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think just the fact that you hear already, he's like, I want to get to know the person, but the camera isn't even in the equation yet. You were just, yeah.
I like to have a conversation.
Yeah. And
that breaks the ice.
So, but are they random people on the street?
Well, sometimes.
Okay. So would you say that you lean more of a street photographer that happens to get portraits?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think that I love to walk around with my camera, and especially in New York City. Like this city has so many characters.
Yeah, it does.
And I like to approach people sometimes, but a lot of the times people approach me via Instagram, for instance. Somebody, let's say a model wants to have a couple of shots, like they reach out, and I'm like, depending if I'm available, I would go and do it.
And is there like, have you ever been like, I don't know, this just doesn't seem like person I'm going to vibe with? Do you ever like, or are you just like, I don't care, all comers, let's do this?
Yeah, if I don't feel the vibes, I'm not going to.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I've definitely come across some people that I'm like, not interested.
I got to tell you, when you pop in my head, I always think stylish. I got to tell you, you're always rocking some kind of feel. And I feel like that's part of people dropping their guard, because you're not just some random guy looking like a janitor going, hey. Okay, like you clearly put thought process into yourself and the way you're coming across. I think that gives people, even if they're not even realizing it, like a subconscious like drop of the guard, like, you know what? Let me see what this guy's going to deliver.
That's very interesting.
You don't
way
think
to
so?
put it. No, I mean, if you say it like that's probably what it is, right? But no, I appreciate
No, I
the,
mean, you put a
the
lot of
compliment.
thought.
Well, I don't. You know, sometimes I just put on my, I just buy things.
You got a
and
scarf with a skull here. You got the ring. Like everything's a detail. Like I think you put in a lot more.
I love paying attention to details. So I mean, I put details and here and there in my clothing and the way I dress and stuff. Yeah.
When you're shooting, you said you work a lot with brands, which we know. I actually met you when you were on Sony Collective.
Yes.
But when you're working with a brand, how do you approach, like, do you want to learn about the brand, what their vibe is? Or you're like, no, you came to me, I'm going to give you what I perceive your brand to be.
Well, that's a great question because it depends on the project. Like, some projects I would never post or say, I shot it. Because
Wow.
they don't like, I like to shoot what I, like with my way of shooting, like my vision, what I want the name Oveck to be that. Like if you hire me, then I would love to shoot with my style.
Right. Well, I think you put out so much prolific work, like people know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
In the early days, you didn't have that. So what was the ball that got rolling for you when you weren't you didn't have a ton of work to show?
No.
What was the ball that got that rolling then?
I think that, I don't know, man, like the circle of friends and the circle of photographers.
Relationships.
Relationships. And I think that's one of the most important things that you can have as a creator.
Absolutely. And I think people, when they always ask me like, oh, I'm in a creative rut, I'm like, surround yourself with people that make you want to go.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do you not want to go out for the night? And then someone's like, hey, we're going to this thing. It's the people that make you want to go out.
Exactly. And then, that night that you didn't want to go out, like you might, it may be that you meet that right person.
Yeah.
That's going to change your life.
Yeah.
Or change the path.
I mean, you travel a lot, so I can only imagine the amount of cultures you've absorbed over the time. And do you feel it influences you?
I love traveling.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, it's all over.
Traveling gives you some of the best life experiences. You get to speak to people, sometimes not because you don't speak the language,
Right.
but you get to experience older cultures and like food and landscapes that are you grew up, like, let's say Egypt, for instance. Like I grew up learning about the pyramids on textbooks or Egypt in general, like, you know what I mean? Or going to Cuba and I don't know, man, like seeing the decay, the beauty and everything that country has to offer, like it's pretty incredible.
No, I remember seeing the Eiffel Tower the first time, and I'm like, you take it for granted. Like you've seen it your whole life. You've seen a million renditions of it, paintings, photos, in movies, whatever. But then when you're actually seeing the thing, it's you can't explain it to people.
You can't explain it to people.
Do you think?
And yeah.
No, but do you think any of the cultures you come across have then influenced your work going forward? Have you like left like a certain country, like, and just all of a sudden you started shooting it just a little differently or noticing things differently?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think it definitely affected me in some way, for sure.
everybody's liking your outfit, it seems.
Thank you guys.
If you guys have any questions, this is why we're live. So please drop them in the chat. Oveck, I feel like you've been doing this for such a long time, and you've been doing so many like educational points and things like that. What made you start doing things like the photo walks and the talks? And when did you feel you were comfortable with it, or was it from day one you felt comfortable doing
I'm never comfortable. I'm never comfortable with it. It happens, and then once I'm there, then it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as you can tell, like I'm not necessarily like the to be like in the center of attention, like or speaking.
I don't know, man.
In front of crowds, which
Yeah.
is very, very strange because I was a musician and I was playing all around the city, like in front of a large crowd.
Yeah, but you were playing. You weren't having to talk to them, right?
Yeah,
it was a different
exactly.
thing. You're creating an
I was playing
atmosphere.
and singing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, were you on the street getting some dollars?
Not necessarily in the streets.
Was
but
that hat on the floor? Were you collecting some change?
I wish I'd had it.
Oh, yeah?
Back then, yeah.
What? So how long were you doing that on the street? What was were you there for hours? Was it just like whenever you felt like it?
I never played on the streets.
Okay.
I was playing all like around venues like
Okay, cool.
CBGBs. I played.
You played CBGBs?
Yeah,
Dude, I grew
many
up
times.
with CBGBs.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I love CBGBs.
Oh, what a shame.
But yeah, what a shame.
What was that like? Did you?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, I was just a kid, playing music and
Guitar?
Yeah,
Okay.
guitar and singing, and it was a lot of fun. That legendary club where all these incredible bands played. Like, so I was able to play there for a couple of times. But yeah, all around the city, like venues all around the city, I played. And going back to what we were talking about, that stage fright or being in front of people.
Yeah.
That kind of helped, like playing, but it's always right before when I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to speak to people now, and so I got to get.
You got to get going. Yeah,
Yeah.
once you're in the convo, you're in it. You know what
Exactly.
I mean, I think people get. I don't get nervous. I've never really had like a nervous thing. I guess because I just don't care. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm still gonna wake up tomorrow, right? So I just go. But I think people get nerves from putting these fake expectations in their head or assumptions of how bad things can go. But if you're in a position to be in front of people, there's a reason, right?
Yeah,
you
for
got
sure.
there somehow, right?
For sure.
What kind of music did you play? I'm guessing death metal. No, All death metal? No.
It was a mixture of.
That'd be amazing.
I would say, grunge, psychedelic.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 90s.
90s. I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s. So
You doing Blind Melon stuff? Is that what you're telling me?
not necessarily Blind Melon, but you can mix like a little bit of Alice in Chains
Wow.
with a little Pink Floyd from, it's like 90s grunge with 70s influences.
Tell me there's videos of you playing something.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Are they out there? Are they on
Yeah,
YouTube?
for sure,
Oh, somebody's got to find this. That's awesome. I didn't know this about you. So what went from sound to visual?
Okay, that's a good question. In 2007, the band broke up.
Okay.
And then
They had enough of you?
well, we hated each other. No, we didn't.
It was mutual.
No, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was just like a time to change.
Okay.
And so I started working at a photography studio. It was a wedding photography studio.
Yeah, where did that come from though? You go from
Well, it was just like I just wanted to learn. Like I've loved visuals since I was a little kid. Like
Yeah.
I loved things like anything visual. To me, it was always very interesting.
Okay.
And so I started working at this studio, and then I started going to weddings as an assistant, holding lights, passing, because it was filmed in 2007.
Yep.
It was like the transition between
weird
film.
period.
It was like
Yeah.
so.
Medium format?
Medium format. We had the Hasselblads, and I had a little pouch with a bunch of backs and like ready to go so that I can give it to the photographer.
Color on one side, black and white on the other.
It was a lot of fun. And and carrying these poles and heavy lights, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot of fun. But it was a learning experience for me. Like it was then when I fell in love with photography.
Yeah.
Even though it was wedding for me later in life, I was like, because I've shot weddings, a lot of weddings throughout my career.
It's a good living.
Yeah, exactly. Where you make money, and it's fantastic.
Crazy idea, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy idea. You make money. But then I've always wanted to explore my own approach to photography and conceptual portraits and going out and photographing people around the world.
I mean, that's cool. I feel like, one, I've seen assistants get a hard truth of what this is as a job and then turn off and never come back to the industry because it's tough.
Yeah.
And I've also seen people that never assisted anyone, and it blows my mind.
I know. You have to assist.
Thank you. See?
You have to assist.
Come on, kids.
I mean, that's actually the best way to learn. I'm just saying.
What have I been saying to you?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, and whenever I see a colleague and they go, I never assisted. My head goes sideways. Like,
No.
you missed out on so much, and you probably don't
Exactly.
even know what you're missing
Exactly.
from your game.
Well, I think the best way to learn is to especially in photography, is to assist, and then you can learn about lighting and you know like the approach of different photographers, and even if you can assist to different photographers, like you know sometimes you stick around
yeah.
with like let's say if you're assisting Anna Livowitz or whoever.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is assisting is the way to learn and to create a path for
I
yourself.
feel like you gain so many different perspectives assisting for different people, and you pick up the habits. Like it's not about like, why did you settle like that? You watch like how they packed their case, what was more priority to them, how they approach clients, like, or like what they chose to even bring rather than not bring, and how different they are in a studio rather than at an event. Like these little things, if you're smart enough and savvy enough to pick it up, it'll last you your whole career. Like it blows my mind, this era that we're in, that people just go, I watched a YouTube video, I'm good. What?
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's because we had it hard, and like, no, you got to walk uphill if you want to be this.
Look, man. I mean, I think that we're spot on that. We can say assisting is a great way to start.
Do you get assistants? Do you ever call an assistant?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you go about finding your assistants? Do people reach out to you to assist?
Some people reach out to me.
Okay.
I do have certain people that I go to. My go-tos are always that I trust. Exactly. Depending on the job too. But yeah.
What's some green flags you look for on a new person that's like, hey, Oveck, I love your work. I'm in New York. Could I assist you sometime? What's a green flag? What's a red flag for you when you're getting a new assistant?
Well, it's the way they approach me, like even on the email they sent me or the DM they sent me. That's just, it depends on the way they come to me and speak to me, you know?
Their demeanor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think the idea is, if you want to assist me, do you want money, or obviously, or do you want to learn? You know, it's like it depends.
I get you. Yeah, I think first impressions are everything.
Yeah,
a lot of, especially in this industry like this. Look, I'm the first person to be like, if I don't like you off the bat, I will probably never like you. Ask Fernando, he knows this.
Yeah.
But people come at you wrong. But if you came at me cold wrong, that means you're going to come to a client wrong. You're going to represent me wrong.
Which brings us to the next thing. Speaking to people is half the battle.
Okay.
Like, meaning when it comes to photography, I think that knowing how to speak to your client or to your subject, like, you know, directing. I mean, sometimes they're models that want...
They're pros.
Yeah, they're pros.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say a thing. But I think that communication is very, very key when it comes to photography.
Oh, absolutely. Not only is the communication key, but the image in the end is a language. You're communicating in that frame as well.
Exactly.
It's just kind of interesting because I get a lot of kids that, maybe I'm sounding old now, but they communicate a lot through text, and when you talk to them, they're not
right.
And it's like,
well, you're good at talking.
I'm just from Brooklyn, man. You know how it is. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
You're a talker. You just got to feel comfortable, and then you're talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't care. I couldn't care. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna
What's
do?
gonna happen? I'm not
It's
gonna.
just a conversation.
It's just the conversation. That's when people are like, I'm nervous to shoot street. It's like, approach them. What's the worst that happens? They say no, they walk away. You'll never see that human again. In New York, I think that's why growing up in New York, you always realized you're never going to see them again. So what's the difference? Who cares what you look like? Whatever. It doesn't matter. You're never going to see them again. Relax.
Well, so and also, speaking of traveling, let's say, when it comes to photography, there are certain countries that you can't really do, like street photography.
Yeah. So exactly.
I mean, you get away with, like, you know, but then, you know, that's just, you want to be respectful.
Yeah, sometimes it's frowned upon. Like, it's not a law, but like you really realize, like in Japan, I realized no one eats outside, like on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you're not grabbing something and eating like you do in here in New York. So I respect it. You know.
Yeah, I respect that.
Same thing, but
in New York here, we have our own set of rules.
we
or we don't.
I feel like when I leave New York, I gotta class it up because like you can get away with anything here. Like it doesn't even matter, right? I mean,
But this is it.
we got guys petting pigeons on the corner. Like it's like crazy over here. But
I know, man.
I feel so fortunate to have grown
Me
up
too.
here.
Me too.
You-
Well, I didn't. I mean, I've been here for 30 years almost.
You're good. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. You know what I mean? But what's your favorite area of the city to go? If you're like, I want to go shoot right now, what's been your favorite area? When you're looking for people, is it like Central Park or is it more like a?
What you know? Fight Eye is usually
Fight-Eye.
yeah. I mean, it's usually like very interesting. It's just people in suits and stuff. Like
You know what I like about
like,
Fight Eye is it's condensed. Like a block is this
condensed.
big,
Yeah.
and you can get like 16 different corners.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
stuff.
I think that, but if I want to get like really, I don't know, Lower East Side, Chinatown, like it's so interesting to just walk around there. There's so many characters and little vignettes of like, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's almost exhausting because if you're going for vignettes, you're on high alert, and you're like, and by the time you're like,
for sure.
you're so. I don't think people realize how tiring it is just to raise your level of observation. Do you find that? Do you find like you're just like using a lot of energy to find something, or you just kind of vibing out?
No, I vibe it out. I think that one of the ways that I go is just grab my camera, but then not with no intention. Sometimes it's just walk around the city because the city is going to show you something that you want to capture.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
Without
the minute
doubt.
you walk.
There's times though where I'm like, I brought the camera, but I don't want to stop experiencing what's in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like once I get the camera in my hand, I'm working. I'm stopping the being a part of it. You know,
Yeah.
because I think that's always our decision, right? Are we a participant or are we a viewer when we take a shot?
Exactly.
You know, so where do you lean? Do you think you're more of an observer? I feel like when you do your portraits, you're
I
a
am
participant.
definitely an observer.
Okay.
I love to observe.
When you do the portraits, though, I feel like that's when you become a participant because you're
Yeah,
looking at them,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
working with you.
Well, so my approach is sometimes when I work with brands, I usually work with. Speaking of hats, one of my really good friend, he owns a store, and I usually shoot his campaigns all the time, and at this point, I've shot that. I mean, I shot his campaign so many times that he leaves everything up to my.
Oh yeah, you're in a sync.
Yeah, I'm in exactly. And so the approach is lifestyle type of shoot with him. It's never really like, oh, let's go into a studio and let's do these. It's all about lifestyle.
You know, before we got started, there was a question in the chat from Anthony G. Thank you for always being here every week. They want to know what your take on AI is because I'm curious too. Because I feel like as a Sony guy, I feel like you're always on the edge of technology. Though that's kind of how that brand goes.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here in this moment of like, what are we doing with what's happening with AI? How do you feel about it? What are the ethics for you?
Before I even answer that question, now that you said so you know that Sony is always trying to innovate, right? I remember a couple of years back, they put us all into a room and they literally asked us to write, what do you want? Like, what do we want in a camera? Like, what is the perfect camera? Think about your wildest dreams, right? Just write it and we're going to try to make it happen. And that's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, as a brand, you want your people, the users, to have everything you want in it, right? So at this point, cameras have evolved in a way that how much more can they get? You know what I mean?
I know.
It's crazy.
They're getting to a point where they have to be predictive, which is nuts.
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if some type of AI will be introduced into cameras eventually.
I know.
To answer the question, like what do I think about AI? I'm not afraid of it. That's one thing. I think that AI could be a tool for me.
How so? Like, how would you apply it to what you're doing?
let's say it's almost like a sketching, or you know what I mean. How can I put it?
Do you create mood boards with it?
Yeah, you can create a mood board.
But what about the finished work? Do you apply anything
No,
to that?
absolutely
So
not.
so you're for prep work with it or
Yeah.
something like that, but finished product.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for the research.
So if someone goes to you for a campaign, they go, "Hey, can you change the background? I know I love this shot.
No,
Oveck, I love this shot."
Yeah, I've never. No,
No, you're not going to do it.
I mean, look, I haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be. That's what I worry about is that the client expects. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like we went through that era of hyper retouching that was every image was awful, but people just wanted that. Clients wanted that. I think you're going to have an era of them expecting like shoot whatever you
Yeah.
want. We'll AI the snot out of it later.
Well,
It's
but
like-
think about this, Seth. Like, just so let's say if I was a writer, I wrote this poem, right? And I wrote this poem, or I wrote this thing for a client, and the client comes up to me, "Oh, this is great, but ChatGPT said this is better based on what you can." How would I feel? Like,
That's what I want to know.
you know, it's crazy.
It's bananas.
It's bananas.
To me, AI is a great thing if you have something that's monotonous workflow,
Right.
that it can take that time and give it back to you. But if it's going to create for me, yo,
No.
I'm like,
No.
and now we're going through this whole thing where it was like a year of them just like sucking up our images out of the internet to feed the AI machine. And then we had ethics brought up because
Yeah.
it's the Wild West all over again. This is nothing we've encountered before.
Well, so look, I'm always up to try new things, but I've heard this term of like AI photography as post photography.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that.
And when I heard that, I was like, "I'm sorry, man. This is not the way." Like, I'm sorry if anybody out there, like, you know, I'm sorry, but let's cut the BS.
Marcus is saying he still remembers the era of HDR portraits where there was like every shadow was opened up and every highlight was brought down. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, even with film, like you could have, you used to, you know, with film, like
You dodge and burn all that,
Yeah,
but-
dodge and burn.
it got to a point where I couldn't even believe, if I don't believe the image and I'm worried about what you did to it more than connecting with the image, it failed for me.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I've used Photoshop like to create conceptual stuff, like back in the early days of Instagram, for instance. But even nowadays, we can talk about this as part of my approach to editing, because I like to edit my images, like treat it with certain colors and
color grading, right?
Yeah, color grading and adding some textures these days. Like my style always changes, and I love to add a little bit of punch.
And so
my
it
images.
should. You should not be afraid to evolve. I think people don't realize that
Yeah.
you don't have to stick to your guns on every aspect of the way you approach something. In fact, if you get stale, that's the worst part. Then you don't even want to do it anymore.
For sure.
So
for
you've
sure.
got to evolve. And yeah, there's a lot of people in this chat. So don't forget to drop a like. Oveck feeds his family with likes. Don't forget that. He needs likes.
Yeah.
He needs the validation. Clearly, look at this guy. No, but I think we're just such in a crazy era because we're in this wild west of like, what is AI even going to be? It's moving is so fast. And now when I see Instagram is sending me stuff that I'm like questioning before I connect with it, right? That's my problem. It's weird, right?
It is weird.
So let's say an all AI made generated movie comes out. I mean, a 2-hour film. And if I feel like if we just don't support it, if they don't make money on it, they won't go forward. It's all about the money.
Oh, it's all about, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I know that that movie, The Brutalist, that
Adrian Brody?
Yeah, Adrian Brody. I know that there is some AI into that movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I
there's
didn't-
like a scene. This is, don't quote me on this, but I know there is something. There's a scene or something that was done with AI.
Look, if you tell me that we can get a movie that would have taken 6 months to shoot down to 3 months and somehow it just made an industry thrive and a little better. I kind of understand that, but I don't want to be fed art that was generated.
Oh no,
I'm
no,
just like,
dude,
there's something about it.
No. I mean, I can't deal. Like, look, again, I'm all about trying new things.
Yeah.
But I'm not the finished product. Like, it depends also where it's coming from. If you said to me, "Hey, Oveck, I have this image, or I have this idea, and a part of it is with AI," I'm going to be interested in, because I know that you know what you're doing. I've known you for how long now? You know what I mean? Like, and you know your craft.
Well, that's also where it's coming from, right? But I think like the early days of Photoshop, you had kids just making like Photoshop junk, and now it's like a meme machine. But like,
Yeah, for
I think we're kind of in that same thing. What were you part of the NFT world? Did you jump in there?
Yeah.
What was your take on how it started and where we are with it now?
Very interesting question. So to put in perspective, I jumped on the NFT world in late 2020.
Oh, so early.
Yeah. So I definitely rode that wave of 2021 where, when NFTs came to the world, like, and everybody knew about NFTs.
What a crazy time that
It was a really crazy time, but it was very exciting, but it was also, everything happened so fast. Like, it was moving like at lights, it was moving so fast that you couldn't even get a grip.
It was in
of
real
anything.
time.
Exactly.
I mean, you're watching it on Twitter in real time.
Yeah, for sure.
It was so wild.
So the way I see it right now, it's come to a much healthier stage.
I think it got, when you're talking about $64 million monkeys and stuff like this, like that was like, what are we doing?
Well, yeah. Well, look, it's like everything. Like, people try to jump into hypes and things like that. And when it comes to money, like, people want to make money. So,
Yeah, I know.
So
and artists finally got to make money.
Look. I mean, it's crypto. Like, crypto can be very. I love crypto, by the way. Like, and NFTs has definitely opened up. Well, not NFTs, the blockchain.
Okay.
And that whole thing has opened up a lot of opportunities for me.
I think it just, for me, it got a little weird when it turned into NFTs almost felt like a mask for like just a crypto thing. Instead of it being like the people buying the NFTs were not caring about what they were buying. They were just,
yeah, I mean, look, what is an NFT, right?
I know. Yeah, exactly. And trying to explain it to people. And then there was like all these panels of people like trying to like, no, because if the second people stop believing in it is the second the value goes down, right?
Well, so let's say me as an artist.
Okay.
I put my photography out there like in the beginning of 2021. Nobody was even collecting anything as part of the photography community. Like, it was only like a few photographers like Dave Krugman, Monares, and Justin Aversano. Like, there was a few photographers out on the blockchain, like putting work on the blockchain. And it was very interesting because people were like more focused on the monkey JPEGs.
Yeah.
Or the pixelated punks and all these things.
Right.
Now I learn more. Like, these days, I know much more about the history of those things. They have a lot of value. Like,
Okay.
for instance, crypto punks, like, let's just say, they're just pixelate. These were like, how can I put it? Like, these are, this is part of history of digital art, for instance. And I think that they have a lot of value, and they definitely created something very important within artists and collectors.
Yeah, I think NFT finally brought up the conversation of we're doing so much digitally. How do we show ownership?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how the video game thing came about.
Yeah.
Like, well, I bought this game digitally. I don't own the disc. And then you download it. No, you just own a license for it. So if it became something digital I could own and then I could sell it as a used game,
Exactly.
that would be amazing. But we're not even close to that right now.
We're not. No, but listen, I mean, we can go on for hours.
I'm not attacking you on this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, you've been through it since the beginning, so I'm curious where you're hoping it goes.
Where I hope it goes is that everybody understands that somehow everything is digitized right now. Even if you go to any photographer, it's like you needed a website. You know, everything is out there. Where you put your work on, let's say, Instagram.
What are you kidding me? Those kids that shoot film then have to scan the shot.
Yeah, they have to scan it and put it, and then digitize that.
What are you talking about?
So,
You shoot
exactly. You know, it's so interesting, right? So
interesting.
everything is on the palm of our hands, like on the phone.
I know.
So somehow, if you can add value, like you can monetize things. Like, for instance, I've been posting on Instagram for 15 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And so I've been doing that for so long. How about if I made some money and put it instead, digitize these images, even if I shot it on film and then, set it as an NFT and have proof of authenticity, put your name, put your signature out there, in the digital space on the blockchain. I mean, there's a lot to it, but.
So what do you think makes someone collectible?
What do you mean?
So like there's infinite photographers on Instagram. What makes someone collectible as far as wanting to own that digital work? Because I don't feel it's the same as owning a print.
I think that if you have a story.
Okay.
Yeah, a story. If you have a trajectory that if you have some sort of I don't know, a story. I think a story is what makes it.
I think it's always the question of, are people investing in the piece or the person, right?
I think that people are investing in the person.
I think that's kind of, well, that's what I think. It's like, well, what's the next thing they're going to do? Is it going to be worthwhile? Will that next thing they do make this worthwhile? Because the reason I say this is like, owning something digitally is absolutely different than owning a print.
Yeah.
A print literally is physical. It exists in your world all the time. It's on your wall. You're living with it. Digitally, yeah, it's in your phone. Yeah, it's my wallpaper, but I just don't think it's the same presence in your life. And it's also not like I could physically destroy that print. Do you remember that Banksy auction where someone bought his painting and then it's shredded right out?
I mean, it's a brilliant way to market yourself too. Because that was all part of.
Dude,
he's a brilliant.
He really is.
Or whoever it is.
He made people that I never thought would care about street art.
Yeah,
I mean, fantastic. It was wild when he first started coming up. When I first saw his book in Urban Outfitters, I knew it was over. I was like, oh, they know about him. Oh, man.
Urban Outfitters, does that even exist?
Does it still? I think it does. I think there's one on 14th Street. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I mean, I walked through there and I hope that the trendy cameras go on sale. Because Holga's used to be $10. Now they're like $100.
Shut up.
I
figured.
Yo, Holga's used to come in a plain black box with a blue band around the top and it just said Holga. They were $9 when I was growing up and they were so much fun. You could collect them because all the lenses were poured plastic, so every lens was different.
Yeah.
It'd be sharper in the middle, weirder in the edges, whatever. Now it comes in a blister pack with all these graphics and it's like, oh, the secret's out. Like,
yeah, the secret's out.
I don't know.
I just saw in the chat, Jeremy Carr, he's a friend. I actually own some of his NFTs.
Okay.
Because he put out an incredible collection of beautiful, beautiful portraits.
So you're a fan of the work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
I love his work. And then that project that he put out, like, I think it was, I don't know, I can't remember if it was late 2021 or if it was 2022. I think, yeah, somewhere around there. It's insane.
All right, you guys should check him out. Melanie's asking, what does someone do with digital art that you bought? How is it more valuable than downloading something from, say, a photography stock website? Because it's limited. There's only a certain amount of those.
Well,
right?
Not only that. Well, there's a meme. You can actually right-click save. and you can have it. You can have it. You can say, oh yeah, I don't. But no, like that's what it does. Like you can, let's say you bought that piece. You bought that Oveck piece. You can now track that piece to me. Like and then if you bought it, like that gives you the authenticity. Like the NFT is there's many ways that I can explain, but we don't have to get into the whole NFT thing.
I think
right?
they're just curious about it because I think there's still people trying to make sense of it. And I think what you have to realize is it's not really the image, it's the agreement behind the image.
Yeah, well, like take like let's put the Mona Lisa as an example, right? The Mona Lisa has been reproduced like how many times?
Are you telling me that bath towel I got from MoMA isn't an original art? What are you talking about?
No, exactly. So think about that, right? So it's the same thing. Like, there could be 100, 1,000,000 Mona Lisas out there. There's only one, the original. There's only one.
Yeah.
So who owns it right now? The Louvre. I don't know if it's the Louvre, but let's just say they have it.
Right.
There's only one. So let's say you own one piece as an NFT. So one of my pieces. You now have the actual one. Like, you can trace that back to me.
But do you own a license of it? So if someone said, I want to make a t-shirt out of Oveck shot, do you own a license? Would you have if you bought the NFT, you own the Oveck, do you own the license where they'd have to pay you to use it?
Well, it depends. If I made it, if I made it that anybody can make, let's say, t-shirts and if I gave my commercial rights, yeah.
Okay.
But you don't have to.
So I think that's another misconception is NFTs are all the same agreement. I think you have okay.
It depends. So like some people want like a physical, like let's say they bought one of my pieces, they want a physical. I'm like I can include that, but it doesn't necessarily have to.
That's where I kind of thought it was funny. It's like you're buying digital art, but if you buy this one, you'll get a physical thing. I'm like, wait a second, aren't I buying the physical thing?
Know,
but
Look,
it's so interesting, right?
Like I think that one of the things that we have to think that is we're heading towards everything's going to be digital.
I think nothing. That's where I got to disagree with you. I think no matter what, human beings will always be drawn to tangible.
Oh, for sure.
So I think sometimes you have that book, sometimes you have that vinyl record, sometimes you have that print, and I think the masses will accept digital. But if you really are into it, if you really like it, we're humans, man.
Right. Well, especially we grew up in a different era.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
I think that, for instance, taking a vinyl and having the whole experience of putting a vinyl into it's almost like a
specialized.
It's just like also the sound of that. Like the sound is straight from vinyl. It's not gonna be an MP3 sound.
No, I think what we're gonna see is more hype of being an actual fan base. So like if you are someone that's we must love music, right? But like there's people that like, I'll just listen to it on my phone. Then there's people like, no, I need to hear exactly how it was recorded from the mat. Those people, they might be like 1% of the mass, but they're the ones that still want the tangible. And that's why like a Wu-Tang album is still like $100 on vinyl. You know what I mean? Like there's something to it, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I think, yes, we're moving to digital, but I think it's like mass consumption digital.
For sure. Look, I mean, I'm more of a tangible person. For instance, I'd love to have. Yeah, I'd like to. Even though, for instance, like because I'm aside from photography, I do paint.
That's cool.
And as of like 2020, I've been doing that. So I do digital paintings, but I also nothing compares to taking a brush and the smell of oils and the feeling of painting on a canvas.
Oh, bro, you go to MoMA and you go to the Van Gogh exhibit and you look at Starry Night, you can see how crazy his hand was with that thick.
Exactly.
And you know what everyone does with that painting? They go to the side of it to see how thick it is. They know people look at, oh, got it, but you can't see it on the side of a phone screen. You can't see how thick. Or the Jackson Pollocks. Yeah. You know how many times I've been at the Met and people go, or is it MoMA? I can't remember. I didn't know there was screws and pennies stuck in there. I didn't know there. Yeah, man.
Look, it's so interesting. Like I saw someone in the comments saying the vinyls and cassettes are back, and I agree. Like all of these things that we grew up. Imagine if CDs came back. Like I have a really good collection of CDs, you know, that I've collected since I was like 15. You know what I mean?
I wish I kept all my late 90s and early 2000s cameras. Because like when you looked at me, like, what am I? It's just junk. But now it's like, look at what's going on.
Well, dude, I obviously for obvious reasons, I shoot with digital cameras, but I have a collection of film cameras that I love, and I shoot with whenever I want. You know,
I feel like you could be a medium format guy.
I have two really, really neat Hasselblads, the 503 X CM.
Yep.
And the other one is this too.
Yeah, I have a 500, and I have all these T-Star lenses and all this stuff, and just the kick of it, the whole thing. But man, you know what's about being deliberate? You've got 12 shots.
Also, just the sound, like
bang. Yeah, I know.
And that thing is built as a tank. Like,
I know.
Those cameras, you can drop them.
But that's part of it too. Is like you're intentionally carrying around this brick.
Yeah.
Like, look at the kids shooting Mamiya RZs now.
Yeah.
They are, I wish I never sold mine. Oh my God.
Oh no, they're incredible though.
But you are committed. You're carrying that around.
For sure.
You're committed. It's not like, I got a little, no, you're going for it. Please stop interrupting your guest. Sure. Sorry if I'm interrupting you, Oveck.
Oh, no. You're not at all.
I wonder if CDs will have that kind of
comeback
connection. Yeah, because I feel like tapes sound different, but CDs are like, always sound like CDs.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, time will tell.
Well, imagine we have like old school, like, and it's weird saying old school, like just original MP3 players. Like that's a thing.
Dude, I still have my two iPods.
I had every iPod I've ever had physically died on me. Do you remember when you felt the hard drive spinning in your pocket?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is crazy. You're like, wow, it's a whole gig.
Or remember mini discs?
Yeah. Actually, mini disc was awesome.
Oh, it was awesome.
Mini disc deserved better.
Yeah, I mean, some people probably don't even know what we're talking about.
Do you guys know what mini disc are? Tell me you know what mini disc. Remember laser disc?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You could kill somebody with a laser disc.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
a sewer lid. But mini disc, I felt, never got its due. You could select tracks. They were durable. They didn't scratch. You could record at 4 times speed.
Exactly.
You could make mixtapes for girls.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, right?
I mean, what's up? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very, very...
Oh, the Zune? Get out of here.
Yeah, nice.
Do you know what was weird about the Zune?
Anthony.
Yeah. You could actually share a song with somebody, and they only got like 15 plays. And then
I remember.
But that was like their version of community building, I guess. But was that Microsoft that did the Zune? I
can't remember.
What a weird little device that was.
It was. I think it was very cool.
It was cool. I just think it was. But this is the thing about brands, right? It was going against the iPod, the monster.
Well, it's just so interesting. It's like Android, versus the iPhone.
There's still more Androids out there than iPhone, ironically.
Right now?
Yeah.
Really?
PC is predominantly used worldwide. Mac is considered a luxury type platform.
If you use an Android, I don't think you're my friend.
If I see that green text message, it's like, you know,
like why?
It was Microsoft. Okay. Yeah. The mini disc, I really wish it took off a little longer than it did. I think there was technologies that didn't get a chance because they were like these like VHS was around for way too long. I feel like what happened there. And then we got DVDs into Blu-ray, and then it was like, oh my God.
Oh man. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I just remember. I don't know if you remember Blockbuster, and then
absolutely
you had to rewind the tape, like the movies.
They charged you.
Or they charge you. Like,
I
pretty crazy.
I miss the ritual of Blockbuster. Going in there, the feel of the carpet.
Yeah.
Walking past the movies, not going through like this.
Oh man.
It was. And you always ran into somebody if it was your hood Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And then you didn't want to see that. You were like renting that weird movie that they thought they made funny about.
Well, you try, or let's say you wanted to be there like early on, so that you can get the movies because they only had so many. Yeah. So you wanted to get that movie. You know, I mean, like the whole ritual. It was fantastic.
I miss that. You know what's crazy to me is if you look at I don't know if you ever recognize the old Blockbusters that were around, how big they were.
Oh yeah,
because they had to physically have a display for every movie.
Yeah,
how expensive that must have been.
Yeah,
at that time. Oh my gosh, man! I wish I bought the Blockbuster T-shirts when they were around.
Oh
Hollywood. Oh, you were a Hollywood video guy, dude.
Oh, I remember Hollywood Video.
A little tackier, a little bit.
Oh no, there was a Hollywood Video in Queens because I'm mostly from Queens.
Yeah,
I love Queens.
Well, I mean,
who's out there from Queens? Please,
what
let
part
me know.
of Queens?
Well, I've lived in different places, but Woodside.
Okay. Yeah, Woodside's a good spot. I mean, you can jump on the Long Island Railroad. It's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But Hollywood was sort of Spencer Giftsy. It had a little bit of that like buy merchy junky stuff, like Tower Records.
Yeah.
Turned into like toys and stuff. But you could get rare magazines at Tower Records. And that's how I kind of got started, was these smaller magazines gave me a shot. And like you'd only find it at Tower Records because it was 12 printed or whatever. Some Coast Video.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I've never heard of that. But
that was a mall thing, wasn't it?
Interesting. Well, so now that you brought in Tower Records.
Tower Records is awesome.
Dude, like I saw Green Day at Tower Records.
What?
In 98, I think it was.
Which Tower Records was this?
On Broadway and like the one nearby. Like,
really?
Remember that Tower Records that was on the corner of Broadway and I think it was, I can't remember, it's Bond Street?
Oh, you're talking all the way by Fidei, like down.
No. It was like right in Soho, dude.
On Bond Street. Man, I remember Virgin. Virgin was around.
No, Virgin was on 14, like right nearby too. But I'm talking about Tower Records. I can't remember exactly. It was on Broadway and it was like, I think it was Bond Street or maybe
Great Jones or something like that.
Yeah, maybe Great Jones.
That's cool.
Anyway, look, all I can say is I saw Green Day for the first time ever. And they were I think it was Nimrod.
Oh my God, that's such a wow.
I know. Listen, so they were promoting it, so they happened to be there, and they played inside Tower Records that day. They trashed.
I'm sure
the whole place.
Do you remember Sam Goody? They were on 6th Avenue, and there was hardcore shows on the second floor I used to go to. You want about getting trash in a place? Yeah, Kings Plaza Mall. So, fun fact, I grew up around Kings Plaza Mall when Alexander's was there. And I remember when they were going out of business and my mom was like, we got to get you as much cheap clothes as possible because they're closing.
Yeah.
Kings Plaza, there was a famous, what's the music store? Sam Ash? There's a famous Sam Ash across the street.
Yeah.
And the marina over there. I grew up right across the street from there.
It's amazing.
Got to see a WPI. Yo, thank you guys so much. Dude can be a WWE superstar. So, you know what's funny is I'm trying to shoot a gig for WWE. If you're watching, what's up? Let's keep that talk going.
Nice.
Hope I get that. Are you a wrestling guy?
No.
I get so into it. I love it's so ridiculous.
Really.
I love
as much as photography. You love it.
Well, look how much imaging takes place, and like honestly, I shoot zombies and creatures. Look at how they shoot these characters. So it just translates really well, and the way I do my demos, I guess what he's talking about is I get 30% of my whole thing from pro wrestling, yelling, getting people psyched up. Alexander's and Woolworths, The Wiz. Oh my God,
The Wiz. Nobody beats
The Wiz.
Nobody, yeah,
and they had a Wizard of Oz mural on the side of the one here in New York, and Cablevision bought them, and that's when they went out of business.
Crazy, dude.
Yo, man. Wow. Yeah, Nobody Beats The Wiz was around before Best Buy, and that's where you went. And
then
PC Richards,
Circuit City.
God. What a mess that store
Yeah,
was.
man. I can't. Like it's part of our history, man.
It is, and it's really interesting to just see what was really Look, we just lost like some legacy stores. Party City just went away. Used to go to Party City for everything,
exactly.
You know. Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, all these weird stores that like you didn't think much about, and then when they're gone, you're like, hey, you know what was great when I could walk in a store and get the thing I wanted to get. 42 West 18th Street. You can go
Yeah.
here, pick up a camera, try it out. Radio Shack. Yo,
no, let's
Radio Shack hurt my feelings because that was the only place you could go to get parts.
There's actually some dude out there
Times Square
saying that he's a time traveler.
What?
Yeah, and he
Wait,
says,
what?
yeah, no, and he said, look, here's proof, and then he goes into a Radio Shack. It's like, this is right now. This is a Radio Shack. He goes into a store, but then, well, I wonder what that store is.
So they're actually like a white label now. They're a website that they just buy like electronics and put their name on and sell it online. But in the final days of Radio Shack, do you remember how sad it was? All they sold was cell phones.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on here, man? But they once sold a radio-controlled El Camino with hydraulics that I wish I bought. It was lime green. I'm sure I'm going to find it on eBay one day and be like, why do we need a remote-controlled car? For no reason. I like dumb things. What can I say?
Hey.
Wow. Man, we just
amazing
went through a
stuff. Amazing stuff.
Guys, we're at the hour.
Are we?
Yeah, isn't that kind of...
Monares.
Did we just lose the stream?
Did we?
Let me know if we're still live, guys. Hopefully we're still live. Sorry, guys. Go for it.
Yeah, no. So at the end of May, I'm gonna be out with two of my favorite photographers, street photographers, Dave Krugman and Monares.
Monares is awesome.
They're both great friends. But I've traveled with both to different parts of the world. And we're gonna be doing some really cool stuff in Egypt. The Board of Tourism brought us out there. So
how legit is that? The Board of Tourism is asking him to go there. So if you guys are interested in this, I told him that when the link is live to leave it in the comments section if you're watching this back on playback.
Yeah, I mean, on Instagram, we'll be posting stuff on Instagram, but I think it's so interesting to go anywhere with these two, especially Monares. Like he's always finding these incredible places. She's one of my favorite street photographers.
She has no fear. And she's just like, let me go to the places nobody goes to and shoot everything. And if you don't know, Monares, amazing street photographer, really good, cool person. Like you could tell how the way she comes off, you can tell exactly how she gets those images.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how long we...
No, keep going.
Okay, yeah, so we... I remember, I don't know if you were around in 2017 with Adorama.
Oh, I wasn't on as much as I am now, but I was teaching classes here and stuff.
Okay,
but
well,
you went to Cuba, right?
Yeah, I went to Cuba with Sal from here from Adorama.
That series is on this channel, by the way. TTL Cuba.
TTL Cuba. It's like 7 episodes. We were out there, and it was incredible. Like that was the first time I traveled with those two, and ever since we're like inseparable.
That's great. I mean, that's relationship building, right?
Exactly.
And now you're going to go to Egypt, which is bananas, dude.
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
I can't wait.
When do you think that's going to happen?
Oh, no. The Egypt?
Yeah.
Oh, at the end of May.
End of May. So that's coming up.
Yeah.
Cool. So do yourself a favor, follow Oveck on Instagram right here.
Yep.
Make sure you stay up on what he's getting into. I can't thank you enough, man. This is cool. If we should stop being so distant from each other, come here, do something, man.
Yeah.
I built this for us. Let's do it.
Love it.
If there's anything you guys want to ask him, if you're watching this on playback, hit us with a comment down below. I hope you guys are good out there. Don't forget tomorrow, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, Daniel Norton makes his triumphant return to the event space. We're going to freeze action. We're going to do a lot of water splashes, a lot of talk about flash duration, lighting, the usual. Next week, Jerry Guionis for episode 50. Can you believe you're 49? You're the 49th guest.
That's amazing.
Isn't this crazy? So if you were into this, there's a whole playlist of 48 other episodes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the Adorama Events channel so you can stay up on all the demos. If I get him back here to do a class, it's going to be on the Adorama Events channel. Yeah. And we're going to be at NAB in Vegas soon. That's right. I'm going back to Vegas for the broadcasting show. But I'm pretty sure those videos are going to be on the new Adorama Cinema channel. If you're trying to up your video game, and I mean video game, not video games, color grading, codecs, gear, build outs, all that stuff, go check out the Adorama Cinema channel. Oveck, man, it's been really good seeing you, man.
You the man.
What are we doing? Are we shaking?
I
doing
don't know.
this? Come on. Yeah. Guys, go follow Oveck, stay up on it. And if you're going to want to go to Egypt, go with this guy and Monares. Amazing. Till next time, guys, be good to each other. I'll see you in that stream tomorrow for Daniel Norton's thing. Blah, 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 blah. Peace, guys.
Peace.